we got some leeks, or maybe they're onions or garlic, but either way, hello and welcome back to all of you avid consumers of Pax Dei and Pax Dei related content. I'm Altari, the professional gamer, and this is the Pax FriDEI review, the show where we talk about all of the fun, interesting, new, and exciting information that has dropped for Pax Dei over the last week. This week, we got a bunch of new screenshots, 14 to be exact, of a lot of different gatherables that are going to be out in the world for us to pick up. This is pretty exciting. There's also a couple of really cool, just general landscape screenshots that we have to go over. So before we get into it, don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it. Share it with any of your friends who might be interested in Pax Dei, and if you are looking for a channel to continue this Pax Dei journey with, we are going to be here the entire way, and we'll have a bunch of guides, a bunch of everything as Alpha 2 comes out, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that, and if you do, we would be so grateful. But let's go ahead and get into some screenshots. All right, and here we are in the first screenshot of today, and one of the things that we're going to notice throughout all of these screenshots is that a lot of these plants are anatomically correct to what they should be in real life. I don't know if I'm using the appropriate term there. I am not a botanist, but this to me looks very similar to either parsley or maybe even fennel. However, I don't see like a stalk that you would see with fennel, or even a leek to say the least. But here we also have another nice flowering plant, and another thing that we will see in a couple of these screenshots is the biomes to which they are being found in. That will probably be important, especially as Pax Dei begins to develop out. We will have to travel to certain locations in order to get access to certain resources, and this is probably going to be the same for our different plants and herbs that we will have to gather out in Alpha 2 and beyond. Here we have what looks to be a nice little flower right here that is gatherable. I would not be able to tell you the particular plant species that we are looking at, but one of the things that I got really excited about when I saw this screenshot was actually not anything to do with the plants, unfortunately, but the church that is sitting in the background. Now, this church is very different to a lot of the other churches that we have seen, and I think this is actually the closest that we've gotten to one of these. And the reason for that is it is not a ruined church. All the other churches that we have seen have been very much so in a ruined state. They've fallen apart. There's Sethians that are inside. Now, we can't really see what is inside here, but one of the observations that I have as well is this looks like it is an area that is surrounded by a meadows type biome, and it doesn't really look like there are altogether too many creatures that are sitting around it. Now, I don't know if that is significant or if it's connected at all to the fact that this church exists, but I think that this is going to be something that becomes more and more important, especially as they start adding things in like church-related gameplay. All right, so then here is another screenshot. Now this is what looks to be along a river or a lake of some sort. I do like how they've added in some of these other kind of more antiquated wood textures here that make it look like something existed here at one point well before the player was here to take a screenshot of it. But I think what this screenshot is for is these, and I do wonder if these are going to be used for any particular type of recipe. Like, are they going to be used for medicinal purposes like in alchemy, or are they going to be something that is actually used for cooking or something like that? And here we have what looks to be some form of either hyssop or something like that. You can also see the classic flax that we all became very, very acquainted with in the first alpha, but a really nice kind of scenic view. And this looks to be in the scrublands or the hilly kind of biome that we've seen before in Alpha 1. And this does too. These look like a completely different type of plant than what we've seen previously. They have orange petals, but again, these are all going to be used for various recipes, be them medicinal or alchemical or through cooking. And it's going to be really exciting to see what recipes there are. And I do believe that this kind of ties into the general theory that we've had on this channel, where in the next alpha for Alpha 2, there's going to be a lot more crafting, and that might even be the focus of Alpha 2, is this expanded crafting system as they start adding in a lot of these recipes for all of the resources that we are able to gather. Alpha 1, we could gather a lot of resources, but many of them didn't have any type of blueprint or recipe for them. So I'm really excited to see if these are going to expand into a lot of the different crafting systems that are going to exist in Pax Dei. Here we have what looks to be, I don't know, maybe lavender or something like that. And I am going to be very entertained by all of you in the comment section telling me I should never pursue a career in botany. But these, again, also look to be in this kind of more shrublands kind of biome as well. So maybe a lot of these are found in that biome, or maybe we just didn't get a lot of screenshots from other areas like meadows or forests. Now, here is... I can't tell if this is a leek or if this is maybe a chive or if it's garlic. I am looking right here. This looks like a garlic clove at the bottom there, but either way, I really do like how all of these plants seem to be pretty identifiable, and there's been a lot of attention to detail to what these things actually look like, and the resource variety that's going to exist in Pax Dei. Just in the 14 screenshots that we have from today alone, there's already 14 different types of plants that exist, and the common ones that we are familiar with from the first alpha aren't even really featured or shown here. So there is going to be a large amount of things for us to gather, which is going to be really important for a very active economy that's going to exist in Pax Dei eventually. Here we have what looks to be some kind of lily, potentially. And again, they look to be located inside of that scrublands or shrublands or whatever mountainous region we had from the first alpha. And then this one I found also to be pretty interesting because it looks to me like this is either some form of oat or barley or wheat. It's definitely a grain. And as we saw in previous weeks, we had a screenshot of a windmill. And what better use for a windmill than milling grain? So I think we might also start seeing things like bakery, as well as other cooking disciplines, start to become more impactful in the game. And also in the background, I don't know if this is just a level of detail thing where really far away looks more red than closer up looking orange, but the flax here, they look similar, but I can't really tell there. So we might have another plant that's like flax, but a little bit more red off in the background as well. Now, here is another really interesting one for me. I'm pretty sure this looks to be cotton. So that is another form of textile. In the past, in Alpha 1, we had access to linen and linen string and all of that, but this seems like it might lead to more cotton-based textiles as well. And in addition to that, we did have another type of textile in Alpha 1, and that was silk, but it didn't have any use. So I wonder if having cotton now present is going to mean we're expanding into a lot of different forms of textiles that different players are going to have access to in different regions. Now, again, this one looks to be in the scrublands biome. This, to me, looks like an orchid, or yeah, I think these are called orchids, right? But again, the theme here is that they all seem to be kind of in this similar biome. Now, someone on the official Pax Dei Discord said that this looks like naturally grown grapes. However, I'm not seeing any actual grapes on the vine here, but we have seen grapes as a pick-upable resource in the first alpha, so this might actually just be a model for that as well. And I guess these do kind of look like grape leaves as well, and they are vines that are spread out. Obviously they're not trellised. So what will be really cool to see is in the future if we will be able to collect these plants and start putting them on our own farmland to harvest. Then right here we have a couple of nighttime pictures. This one looks like almost like a rain lily. Those existed in the previous Alpha 1. And that is all of the various plants that we had to go over for the upcoming Alpha 2. So I think this is merely a small glimpse of a very much so larger picture of all the gatherables that we are going to be able to collect and use in various crafting recipes throughout Alpha 2. I think this is a pretty strong indication that there's going to be a lot more recipes, a lot more things for us to craft and do, and a lot more reasons to go out into the world and explore and discover new things. Now, in this particular set of screenshots, we really only had 1 or 2 biomes really getting featured heavily. We had a couple from areas like this meadow, and then a lot from other areas like the shrublands or scrublands. I forgot which one it's called. But either way, if those are only 2 biomes, we have definitely a lot more biomes to cover and to go through. And I am very much so excited to explore all of that with all of you in Alpha 2. It is going to be coming up in, gosh, we're about a month away from the end of the first quarter. Mainframe told us that we should be able to expect it within quarter 1 of 2024. So it is coming up, and it's coming up quick. A lot of press releases or screenshot drops have started to tone down. Last couple of weeks we were getting them on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Now we're only getting one on Friday. So to me, that means the team is getting closer and closer to a actual release time frame for Alpha 2, and I'm very much so excited to cover all of that with all of you coming up. So if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, share it with any of your friends, and subscribe so that you can join the rank of consumers along for the ride in Alpha 2 and beyond for Pax Dei. Until next time, I'm Eltari, the Professional Gamer.